Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the DLLS Stars Pregame Show. There's Blurry Sam's hat head. Luds is laughing at him already.
How is it blurry now? What is that even?
As soon as we log on, as soon as we come on,
as soon as we start, Wi-Fi Sam is in the building. Sam Nestor, Greg Ludwig. I'm Owen Newkirk, our producer Ryan Vaughters. We are still on a remote tonight because, again, the driving conditions aren't great. I actually had to go run a couple errands this afternoon, and the roads are better in DFW the busier they are. So the highways, pretty good. The big arteries, not bad. The smaller roads and then the ones around your neighborhood, the subdivision stuff, it's pretty dicey out there. So anyway, we're glad that you're on. And Sam, maybe you should get those rabbit ears out and see what you can do. But before we get into anything, let's talk about the hoodie that Sam is wearing right now, if you can see it, if it's not too blurry, because the Finnish Mafia hoodie is on sale now, all DLLS.com. It's super soft. It's warm. It's delightful. Obviously, it supports DLS and all the Finnish Mafia members for the Stars. Get it today. It looks great. Oh, man. Apparently, we are now supposed to call Sam Hotspot Sam. I love that. And if you didn't already get your tickets, they are sold out for the DLLS Stars Takeover event. It's the Die Hard Takeover event. Stars and Mavs are playing on Saturday, both on the road. The Mavs are in Houston. The Stars will be in Utah. And we are having, I believe, 20 diehards in studio. Wild Fork Foods and Meat and Seafood Market is providing a spread for us. Can't wait for that. We will be doing our pre- and post-game shows there. The Mavs are doing a watch-along. Why are we telling you this if it's sold out? Because one of the great events for being a diehard, sign up today. The more that you be a diehard, the more access you'll get to things like that, plus discounts. And if you're a diehard, you get 20% off merch like that Finnish Mafia hoodie. All right, guys, we've had a couple days off. The Stars didn't play over the weekend. We had a show yesterday. Fun one. Good conversations. Sean lost his marbles about Matt Duchene, and apparently the coaching staff listened. Because let's take a look at what we think are going to be the lines today. One of the big storylines is Ritzy Ritz might actually get a chance to play on the first line. He's been a couple of times a placeholder, but it never really happened. Tonight, we are going to have Justin Ritzkovian playing with Wyatt Johnston and Mikko Rantanen up on that top line. There it is. Matt Duchene will center Steele and Ben. And, of course, the other two lines stay pretty much the same as they did the other night. Thoughts about Ritzy Ritz going up to the Ritzy spot on the first line?
Sam, you're on the floor.
I should have called on you.
Yeah, you gotta raise your hand. We've talked about this a ton of times. I like the idea of it. I think he has more to bring than other people that have gone in that spot. I think he has the opportunity to be exactly what that line needs. And I loved Glenn Goldson talking about him today, talking about multiple layers to the decision, right? It's not just, we haven't tried him yet, let's do it. It's not even just that he's played well and stood out even during this slump. It's that he has the right tools. He has the thing about, which is the same as Sam Steele, which is to go get the puck, go retrieve it, go win battles, get it back. So reload for the big skill guys to have offense. The other side of it is he has the offense to be able to finish. And Goldson said multiple times, he said, you have to have the offensive ability to keep up and you have to have some finishing ability. And Sam Steele is able to keep up, right? We know that he's fast, but he didn't have the instinct necessarily to get to the right spots and he couldn't finish a lot of chances. That's no secret. So for Ritzkovian, the key for him to really have an effect on this line is he doesn't have to score every night, but to be in the right spot, have the enough instinct to go to the spot that Mikko Rantanen's going to put that puck to get it on net or to create it and turn it into a chance. And the other thing they said the top guys love playing with him. And why wouldn't you, right, Lutz? I mean, the guy goes and hounds the puck. He's energy. He just pisses people off all the time. He feels like the perfect player for a skilled guy to play next to.
He's that ever-ready bunny, right? I mean, his feet don't ever stop. I think you were being polite with Sam Steele.
Sean wasn't polite with Matt Duchene yesterday, Sam.
No, I just think that, Steele has had lots of opportunities, as we've seen, to be in that spot. So it'll be interesting to see, what Ritzkovian does because there's going to be a couple pucks that are going to end up on a stick, especially coming from 96. So but I think for me, it's like that youthful exuberance. He brings that guy that just loves to be out on the ice, and now he's just going to love to be able to have the opportunity to play with these guys, and I think it'll wear off on the rest of the group. So we'll see how long it lasts. I mean, we never know. I mean, it seems like if things go sideways in the first 10 minutes, there's changes usually made.
Yeah, what's interesting was Robert actually brought this up to me at whatever the game was before Friday's game, the home game. That Golitzin doesn't make adjustments out of the same type of time frame. It always seems to be mid second period, right? It's like not right away to start the second period, not during the first period, and not even late like we're going into the third. Let's try something. It's always right around that midway point of the game. Is there any reason for that? Is that to give them enough runway on each side?
I think he wants to give the guys runway to figure it out on themselves. Yeah. I think the one is where you start pulling the trigger too early, and that's the one. For me, I think as a player on that bench, you get a feel for the coach, just like the coaches get good feels for you. And so that you have a bit of a window there to pull it together. So if you have three guys that are happy playing together and staying together, that the rug could get pulled out at about the 10-minute mark of the second period. So guys, let's get it together before we want to stay together, which to me, if that was Matt Duchene that got an opportunity to play up there with 53 and 96, he'd be going balls out, but he'd be telling the other two guys, come on now, we want to keep this together, don't we, guys? Not that the other two guys want to keep it together, but Matt Duchene.
Well,
so I just think that Gully, there's times that he will pull the trigger, but I think he just goes off of feel. I really do. I think he gets a good feel for one line that may be playing together and two of three on another line or so that aren't, and he'll just start tweaking things. I think he'll do it for a shift or two, and then he'll see if it, there's some kind of spark there.
Okay, two things. One, I want to play a clip of Gully talking about Ritzkovian, but first, KG is in the chat. Luds, is there anything you want to tell KG who's watching right now what to expect for this Stars Mavs diehard takeover event on Saturday night when we're both in the studio?
Does he type as loud as he screams and yells?
Yes, we could hear him typing.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure. Why? Did KG's in there? Is he sending us a message?
He's just said, he said, "What's up? Let's go Stars. What up, everybody? Shout out to Sports Guy T.O." Yeah, he's all over the chat in the last couple minutes.
All right, well that's a good spot for him right there.
KG was in the Luka Doncic
special suite on Saturday night. Yes, he was.
Shot.
Man, he was. He always calls Luds the superstar. KG was the superstar on Saturday night. Yeah. All right, let's hear from Glenn Gulutzan. Here's what Stars head coach had to say about Justin Ritzkovian moving on up to the east side.
If you're going to go up into those spots, you need enough offensive ability to keep plays alive, and he's certainly more than capable of that. You have to be able to finish a little bit, and he's capable of that. But again, playing with those players, sometimes you just need a retriever, a guy that can win puck battles, get pucks back, and keep plays alive. And he can do all those things. He checks all those boxes. So, there's very few teams playing in triplets with 9 forwards all fitting in seamlessly. Right. So, at the end of the day, I know the top guys like playing with him, and that's a big thing too.
All right, guys, you heard him say that. You guys mentioned this. The top guys like playing with him. That's important because Luds, we haven't asked this to Gully yet, but it's something I want to ask him. I'm positive Gully is a collaborator, meaning he's not just talking to his coaches. I think he's also seeking out input from his most important players. Now, I'm not sure if he's asking every guy in the roster, who do you want to play with, but I would be stunned if that conversation isn't being had with a guy like Mikko Rantanen, Matt Duchene, Jason Robertson. Those kind of players aren't, in those conversations every now and then.
Well, if you're a smart coach, you should, because Glenn Gulutzan doesn't have 600 games under his belt in the NHL. He's got a bunch of games behind the bench, and you learn a lot there. But you go to the horses. I mean, you go to the guys that know the game the best, and I think you have to find the right guys, because I've always felt, and I've brought this up to a couple of general managers, and I don't know the right answer or not. I think there's times when you're this time of the year and there's things that could be happening or not happening. As much as you think and the GM thinks and the assistant general manager and coaches that coach for players, as much as you think that you know about a player that you may want to move for, you want to pull the trigger, the players know more. They just do. And if they don't know, they have somebody that's really good friends with them. So I've always felt like, go to the players. They're the ones that play the game. They're the ones that have the feel for the game. You can have a feel from a coach, but not like a player does in the course of a game. And there's just times when, and I can use the example of a guy that plays in Nashville right now, and his name is Steven Stamkos. And he had a tough year last year when he got there, and I thought it was all because of he wasn't scoring goals. And I think it was all because of where the puck was being put to him, especially on the power play. Stamkos was getting it from a guy by the name of Kucherov, and it was in the same spot every time. Kucherov was going to go, and I think Stammer knew where he was going to put it. I think that's the same thing with players that you play with. When Rantanen plays with Sam Steele, we'll just use Sam Steele. He knows, for the most part, where Steele wants the puck. And so now Steele is on the other end there. But he also knows where Wyatt wants the puck. There's that combination between Rantanen and Wyatt right now. I mean, he knows that he wants it in tight to his feet because that's where he gets the most on it. And those little details, I think players can find out. Sorry.
Boy, he was so excited he kicked the table with his laptop on it.
He's only got three legs, and wouldn't you know, it's wrapped around the back one.
I love it. Sam, you heard Luds talk about Mikko Rantanen. Rantanen played a lot more on Friday night than we expected, knowing that he was coming out of basically not having an appetite with this illness, this gastrointestinal thing he had, which is a nice way of saying it was coming out of a couple different ends, and he wasn't feeling particularly energetic. Well, he's feeling better after having 3 days to kind of recover and refuel. You think we're going to see a much different Mikko Rantanen tonight than we did on Friday?
Yeah, I do. And I think he was speaking to Mike Heika this morning, and he made a good point of, I forget if Mike said it or Mikko said it, about how they had so many power plays too, right? So it wasn't even like they probably didn't want him out there for 22 and a half minutes or whatever he played, but they had 5 power plays in the game or more.
Yep.
So, you're not going to not put him out there. So I think some of those minutes are a little skewed because of the fact that he's out there just standing on the wing. And if you watch Mikko, he's not Ovechkin. I'm not going to say that, but he does pace himself on the power play. He's not the one coming back in the play. He's the high forward on the breakout. He's going in his wing. He's staying in his spot. So it doesn't take as much energy. But on the flip side, he still looked slow, right? He looked a little bit behind the play. He wasn't dominating. When's the last time you saw a game with Mikko in it and didn't see him either draw a penalty, take a penalty, get into a little something behind the net, get a big hit or throw a big hit. He's a high event player. So when you don't notice him, he's not like the Lundqvists and Capobiancos where you don't notice him, it means it's a good game. You have to notice him. And I think that's fully because he was low on energy. I think you said it, Owen, yesterday. The only reason he played is because he had already warmed up and didn't want to go home after that. So I think tonight he's a totally different player. They got to skate in. They had a couple days off. They're a little more relaxed. I think he'll be an impact tonight. And I think that's a good time for him to have that Ritzkovian guy on his line, right? Because even if he's a little bit lower on the energy still, Ritzkovian's going to be charring those legs, and I think he pulls people into the fight with him.
Luds, I'm sure you've played NHL games where you didn't feel your best, and whether it was coming off being a flu or playing guilty or whatever you want to call it, when you recover and you feel good again after not feeling up to your usual standard, you have to almost imagine there's an excitement of, wow, I'm pumped. I've got energy tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't relate to that too well.
Luds went from 0 back up to
my energy usually got me into hot water at times. So it's not like I could get the puck and stand up the ice or anything like that. So, but you see it. But you're right. I mean, when you see the things that Rantanen does or Wyatt does with his shots or even Robo. The other night when we saw Robo attempt, 15, 19 shots, Robo was feeling it. But yeah, I mean, and it's a good place. That's when you start to see, and even if you're not spotting it, just watch how many times he gets double shifted by the coach because he's just sending that player out there time after time after time.
All right, guys, we have more to talk about this. Also, Glenn Gulletson mentioned something about adjustments. I'm going to play that for you on the other side of the ad break that is right now on the DLLS Stars Pregame Show.
Well, we need to take a look at that Finnish Mafia shirt that Sam is sporting right now because it's hot. We're hoping that we can get some for our friends and family, but I got a funny feeling they're going to be sold out soon. But it is the biggest one, and the Finns are all back in order, and hopefully that big Finn number 96 is feeling a lot better tonight, and he gets himself on the scoreboard. And I do want to pull up Wyatt Johnston. Now, I'm going to stay on this one until he ties the record. And Wyatt is now, how many is it, 0-5? 5 off tying the record right now as far
He's
as
one away from Madonna's Dallas record and
we don't care about that guy.
five from Dino.
Yeah, we don't. Mo's got enough records. We could care less. So there's the Wyatt 53 16-bit, right? Why?
You're absolutely right.
I do not know. You think you said that before? Why is it the 16-bit shirt? Remind me.
Because that's how many bit graphics that game was when that came out.
Similar to my Wi-Fi.
That's right. It's basically just think of it, Luds, back when TVs were picture tubes and not these high-def flat screens.
Picture tubes. Good job, Luds.
Sam has no idea what we're talking about.
Speaking of my Wi-Fi, if you look at the chat here, you'll see a lot of people that have special badges on their names.
I didn't see the chat.
They're usually the ones who are being an ass to me about my Wi-Fi, but they are also YouTube Supporters Club members. So I will forgive you for the moment, but YouTube Supporters Club is special. It's where it's for the real ones, true sicko level stuff. You get exclusive emojis, as you can see in the bottom corner there, as well as some Luds emojis and a Stanley Cone, all kinds of fun stuff. I think we get more and more as this goes on. You also get the badges that you saw on there. So you pop out in the chat. And I don't have new internet gear, but thank you. And you get all kinds of cool stuff. Plus you get behind the scenes footage, which I loved the Luds video, but I only wish that it was completely uncensored. But I've heard from Ryan that there were things that he couldn't even put on the internet, even in uncensored form. So I will hope for next time that Luds will give us some uncensored material. And
what's ridiculous about that video, Sam, is I witnessed it all live, but when you compile it in a compilation like that, for lack of a better word, it was a collage of fun, and I giggled my way through half of it, even though I've watched every moment of it when he was actually recording it. Did you just
use the word collage for a reason?
I did.
What was the reason?
Because it was, I said, a compilation. So a collage is bringing them all together.
Because collage and compilation both have something in common.
Tell us, Luds.
Well, if you spell them. Okay.
I don't know. That one went over my head. Yeah, Sam, do you see it flying over? I missed it. All right, guys,
I'm writing it down.
Okay, so I clipped this from Gully this morning because, Luds, this piqued my interest, and I want your thoughts of what he's talking about here, because Gully said they made some adjustments, didn't like some of the things that happened on Friday night against the Blues.
We didn't like some of the stuff in our game. We did have to make some adjustments for tonight. Just things they do very well. And they had a couple of adjustments. They've kind of went to a man-on-man defense from a zone. So just little things like that we had to take notice of and kind of prepared our guys this morning. We'll do it again tonight.
I feel like there was something missing on that clip, that there was a little extra, but he was talking about going to man-on-man, something that the Blues were doing. What do you think the Stars, when you watched the game on Friday, obviously there was some energy issues because they played in Columbus the night before and the Blues didn't have that. It was the back-to-back. But when you watch that game play out and you hear him talk about, we have to make some adjustments, do you think that, I mean, look, it's rare when you get to play the same team twice in consecutive games, even if it is separated by a few days.
Yeah, it's kind of like playoffs, right? Where you're supposed to make adjustments. Scully's making
right.
adjustments. That's good. We like that when you make adjustments. Sometimes the St. Louis Blues will give you problems on their forecheck. They have a way that they forecheck that gets you to put the pucks into certain areas, and then they create a lot of offense by their forecheck, and they turn pucks over in that neutral zone, and then, again, a little bit of a counterattack. As far as the man-on-man, there were times but for the most part, they don't play traditional. I got my guy and follow him all over the ice. There's times that they get a guy. I've seen it more on their penalty kill at times. And really what you do and the way the lines are set up for Dallas is when you talk about man on man, is it maybe a smart move when Jason Robertson comes across the offensive zone that one of the forwards grabs him and it just eliminates him? Because wouldn't you rather play 4-on-4 with Robo not getting that shot off? More importantly, would you not want to go over and take Mikko Rantanen out of the play and make sure he never gets the puck back again on the power play? Now you're kind of playing a little bit of 4-on-3, but there are times I think that you're saying this is the head of the snake on this particular line or this particular group, and you're going to try to take it away. But as far as a flat out man on man, that's not what they're doing. So, but I think when Gully says that, there's some changes and there's some things that they see that are taking away from offensive plays, and that could be just offensive people.
Sam, I want to bring up one more thing about Mikko Rantanen because he said something that I thought was interesting. So I'm going to play this for you and then tell me if you think this really holds true to you. And obviously Luds as a player would have his take on this, but this is Rantanen talking about that they need to stop this win one, lose one, win two, lose two kind of streak.
Yeah, I think, early in the year, like you said, we got some goalie performances and we got power play won us a couple of games, and obviously I think goalies are still playing excellent. We got a 5-on-5 and we got to help our team a little bit, I think we're trending in the right direction though, but we got to keep getting a streak here, we can't lose one, win two, lose two, you got to get a streak going.
Thoughts on that as they try to, 5 games left before the Winter Olympic break?
Yeah, I actually just wrote about this today. The Stars, Goalitzin said it, I can't remember which game it was, maybe Tampa or one of the ones before that. Goalitzin used the word traction, and he said, we just haven't been able to get traction. We had the good game in Washington, and then we had kind of a step back. We have the good game, the good performance, like Columbus is an example of good performance, but they can't get the win because they can't score a goal. They're just stuck in the middle, which I will say is better than where they were before, right? They've gone 3 different ways. They've gone 25, 7-4, or something like that, whatever they were to start the year. Second in the league, power plays flying, shooting percentage is great, goalies are great. Then they had the slump where everything was bad. Now they're kind of in the middle, right? They're 2-2 in the last 4. Their power play's been better. Their penalty kills stabilized a little bit. Their goalies have been a little bit better. They're struggling 5-on-5. They have some players like Robertson that's dominating, other players like Duchesne that's struggling. So they're in that middle ground right now. And I think that's okay because I don't think you go from 0 to 100 in this league. It's too good to go from we're slumping, nothing's working to everything's flawless again. But they're working their way through it. I think sludge, is kind of the right word that I think of they're working their way through all that muck to get to the clean stuff on the other side. I think the big question, the simple way of saying it is they have to find a way to put 2-3 wins in a row, right? They have to find a way where they're playing well for not just the 20 minutes, but 60 and then 60 to 120 and then carrying those over and stacking wins, as Goldson likes to say. But the other part of it is, what I wrote about today was, who is this team? Is this team the 25-7-4 team? Is this team this middle ground where they need something special to get a few wins? Or is this team that somewhere in that slump area where they need something big in order to happen? So I think the important thing of this stretch is for 2 things for me. One, to figure out who they are. They have 5 games right now, not against the top tier teams in the NHL, a lot of them on this trip and on this in general. Show who you really are. And the other side of it is you're going into a break for 3 weeks. You're going to either go to Milan or you're going to go to a beach somewhere or go skiing, whatever you're doing. It can be a weight on your shoulders and on your mind, your body, and everything. If you go into this thing, 1-3-1 or whatever at the end of this, or 1-2-3, the other side of it is if you go into it on a run, you win 3, you win 4 out of the next 5, you go in feeling fresh. You go take a break, you go to the beach or you go play in these games and your mind is free. And then you hit the ground running exactly like they did last year with Thomas Harley coming back. That's the balance they're going to need to strike right now. And I'm actually really excited to see because I don't know the answer.
Luds, the 3-game road trip that starts tonight closes out the month of January for Dallas. They're in St. Louis tonight. They go to Vegas on Thursday and then in Utah on Saturday to finish out the month. They are in danger of having their first sub 500 month of the season because of their poor start and their poor finish to December, to be quite frank. But they're 4-6-2 in the 12 games so far in January. They need to earn 5 of 6 points to stay at 500 or above. I know that probably doesn't matter right now, but what are your thoughts about going into the break on a positive bit of momentum?
Well, there's no question you want to do that. I mean, although whether you go into it because it's so long, it really doesn't carry over. Kind of like momentum doesn't carry over from one game to another in the playoffs when, in the first shift of the second game that you thought you had the momentum, somebody scores a goal from the other team, now the momentum's gone. But I mean, I think that for the guys just to be able to have a good 2.5, 3 weeks off, it's important. And I don't know how many of them actually dwell on it because, again, this team is not going to be in a playoff spot when this break is over with. So they know that they're going to be a playoff spot. So I just think everything that you guys just got done talking about, when Sam came up with 3 different scenarios, when this doesn't work and that and this, and there's one night this, that's exactly what traction isn't. Traction is when all those 3 things work together. And that's what Gully's trying to find. And really, honestly, from the beginning of the year, we talked about this too, have all of their parts been together in every single game? That's very rare too.
Very rare.
They've been leaning on the power play for such a long time. And the power play's been carrying the special teams. Let's just say special teams. And then that kind of, there was, somebody stuck a pin in that balloon a little bit. And that's when things fell apart. Even now, when you look at Dallas, I mean, 5-on-5, they're not with the elite when it comes to 5-on-5 things, right? So I just look at the game tonight. This is a team, this is going to be a different game here. This is not going to be any, these guys are good at home. Like their last, I think, what is their record? 6-1-2 or something like that in their last 9 home games or whatever that comes up to. You know what their goals against is in those 9? 2. That's what they're doing. They're giving up 2 goals against. You want to go ahead and look at the last, their road games in the 9, their goals against is 4.2.
Oof.
Team is a little bit different when they play at home. So, and there are some things, I think when you talk about some things Gully's talking about tonight, they see those things and they know there's a certain way that these guys play at home. It'll be important to make adjustments early.
Well, let's take a look at the Blues lineup tonight because after they lost to the Stars with that Jason Robertson goal with a minute to go in regulation, they went home the next night and duked it out with LA. They lost 5-4 in a shootout, trailed 2-0, took a 3-2 lead, fell behind 4-3, tied it with 2:10 left in regulation, and then lost in the shootout in 4 rounds. They do get Robbie Fabry, who played Friday, didn't play Saturday, back in the lineup because Otto Stenberg was sent back down to the AHL so that he would be eligible to play AHL games during the Olympic break because there is a cutoff there for being able to be sent down and eligible to play during the NHL time off. And guys, Jordan Binnington's their starting goalie as he will play again tonight. And he always plays well against the Stars, but this is a team that is right now kind of struggling. I mean, they've been kind of struggling all year, but they're winless in 4 and they have 2 wins in their last 9. And we already know that they are thinking about being sellers. And the question is, when will they pull the trigger on that before the deadline?
I think they're going to do it earlier than later. That's my
Why?
feeling. Well, because I think that with Doug Armstrong still so-called running it until, he steps upstairs again, I think you get more for it. It's kind of like Jimmy Rutherford in Vancouver. He gets out ahead of things because there's more out there and you don't know what's going to be missing after it. But again, like you say, they're sellers. So it'll be interesting to see what they do want to sell. And I know everybody might be talking about a couple defensemen. I don't know how they get rid of Parayko if they do, because I don't know where you're going to find another Parayko. I just can't see that happening, but I've heard his name mentioned. But
wouldn't we all like Parayko on the Stars?
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
yes.
but I don't see them moving him. But I would. I mean, he'd be the ideal guy there.
I don't know where you find another one. I mean, at some point, and it's not like he's 39 years old. Right?
No.
He's still got some gas in the tank. So now Justin Falk. I mean, we've talked about him before. That he's a little bit older, and so that might be one of their guys that they're looking at. But again, this really goes against the grain for Doug Armstrong. I mean, he's not been one that wants the fans to know that they're going through this kind of a rebuild, so to speak. He's always been in belief that they can hang in there, make the playoffs, and keep scrapping. So it'd be interesting to see where they are. But I mean, I don't know if you guys got to take a look at Monty the other night when Robo scored that goal with a minute or so left. Like there wasn't any emotion on his face. Like he wasn't even pissed off. It's like
He looked resigned to it, didn't he?
Well, yeah, and it's kind of like, man, this just keeps on happening to us. And And I'm sure he's going, all we do is spend time in that coach's office and try to put the right pieces, the right game plan together. And when I say right pieces, he's probably thinking we could use a couple of the right pieces on this club too. So interesting to see where they go. But yeah, when it comes to the break, I just think these guys are, I don't want to say complacent, but they pretty much know where they are, and they put themselves in a good spot. They put themselves in a situation where they can have a good break. They should have a good break. You know what I mean? They put, especially their top 5-6 guys.
Sam, any final thoughts about the Stars and Blues tonight before we wrap up our pregame show and all migrate over to ESPN Plus or Hulu tonight?
Big game from number 49.
Oh, he wants a Ritzy Ritz. Hey, Luds, I have one more question for you really quickly, just because I saw the starters tonight. So the visiting team has to announce who they're starting, gives the home team, just like they do on the ice, a chance to name them afterwards. Stars going with Robertson, Hintz, Bork, Harley, and Lundqvist, of obviously Oettinger and net. And Monty's going to play Neighbors, Buchnevich, and Kyrou against the Hintz, Robertson, Bork line.
Yeah, they're just going, Monty's going strength on strength tonight.
And Broberg, Parayko head-to-head, which means you're probably going to see the pairing of Tucker and Falk against the Rantanen line. I would be my guess.
And really, this is more about the forwards to me when you do that kind of stuff, because when you're talking about Kyrou, those guys, they want them to spend more time in the offensive zone than they do in their own zone, because that just means that the Robos and the Rantanens and the Wyatts and all those kind of guys are further away. And by the time they get to the other end of the rink, the offensive zone, hopefully they don't have a ton of gas in the tank.
All right, guys. Good luck finding your broadcast on ESPN Plus or Hulu. We will be here right after the game with our full post-game show with all the fun right here on DLLS.
I believe that they are going to crush these guys tonight.
We all silly like the mayor.